We all know editing curves in Resolve is a mess, and saving them is basically impossible. And making those smooth and elastic bounce animations, usually that's when you hit After Effects, but not anymore. In this video, I will show you how to turn your animations from this to something like this. And it only took me 5 seconds. And the crazy part, you can do the same with EaseSpline. So let's begin. Install first, and it's quick. Grab it from the link below. Windows and Mac users run the installer. Now, if you're watching this on Linux, listen up. This Linux build is not public yet, but I run on Linux. Everything you're about to see in this video is running on Linux right now. Now, if you want early access, reach out to me in my Discord server. Link is in the script. The EaseSpline needs to talk to Resolve, and that happens through a small script that lives in Resolve's own script menu. Workspace, Scripts, Company Spline. Now, if you don't see this folder, that means in your device, Python is not installed. Install the latest Python version from the Python org. Once you're done with that, restart your Resolve, and if it still doesn't show up, just reinstall the app and open up from here, or you can just set a shortcut key. Watch the status chip in the corner. Green means it's connected to Resolve. If it's not, just click on it to reset it and run the script again, and it will solve the issue. And to be clear, it works in both the studio and free version of Resolve. Now we're done with the installation and connected to Resolve. How to make this thing feel like yours, and it takes about 90 seconds. Then we get into the part that actually changes your work. Gear icon is the settings. Everything lives there. Accent is the color of the whole app. Your curve, your highlights, and the buttons. Now they're set to pick from. And there's multicolor, and this one is useful and not just pretty. Turn it on and every curve type gets its own color. So bounce doesn't look like Bezier. You stop reading labels and start recognizing the shapes. And a custom picker if you want the exact color. Now, background is how dark the script background is. There's 3 options you can choose, from gray to full dark. Buttons are the styles of every button in the app, and the apply button is styled separately. On purpose, of course. It's the button you look at more than any other in the app, so you can make it shout or disappear independently of everything else. Now the corner radius and the outline. This is only for the Brutalist theme, so there is 2 sliders. Set it once and that's how it looks from now on. Layout is where things sit, and this is the one that people skip and then complain about it. Sidebar has its 2 styles. So it can be loud or it can vanish into the background. Then the editor itself, the grid style, dot or lines. Now make your curve canvas however you like. Grid density is the number of dots or boxes you have in the curve editor. Lower means you have less boxes or dots. Higher means you have tens dots or boxes. Border one, well, this one is the second. Drag a handle towards the edge of the box and it stops on the border instead of sliding past it. Landing exactly on 0 or 1 is effortless, which matters more than it sounds because those 2 numbers are where clean easing starts. Tune it here or switch it entirely off by making 0 if you would rather have no one at all. Intensity lines, that's the readout showing where your motion is fast and where it's slow. If you want to keep it, turn it on. If you want to hide it, hide it. You can read a curve's whole personality of the strip without looking at the curve. Turn it off if you want a clean canvas. Then the cards. Clears the built-in cards out if you only ever use your own. The panel layout, where the panels sit related to the curve. Wide window, put them beside it. Narrow or short, put them underneath. And the controls themselves, by default, they tuck away when you move off them. Pin them and they stay open. Auto apply. Now this one changes how the whole app feels, so you don't skip it. Normally you build a curve, then hit apply. Auto apply takes that click out of the loop entirely. Turn it on and then you choose exactly what triggers it and it applies. Move a handle and on release only, which is the one I would leave on. Okay, app looks right and behaves right. Now here's the entire tool in just 3 steps. Select to animate a node in Resolve, picks up instantly, and list every animated controls on it. The highlighted one is the one that you're editing. By default, it's the first control. Click any of them to switch. 2. Pick a curve or do your own. And 3. Hit apply. And that's it. Select, pick, and apply. Everything else in this video is built on top of those 3 steps. So if you stop watching right now, you can already use it. But you'd be leaving out 80% of it on the table. One more thing before you move is a reset. This keeps every curve you have actually applied to resolve, not what you have clicked, but what you have committed to. So the curve that you've used 20 minutes ago is just one click away, and that's your real working set. So 7. In and out. This shows you the in and out of a segment. 2 buttons in the bottom bar, start frame and end frame, and they're not just text fields. That shows you the timestamps. This lets you do time stretch on start frame wherever your playhead is. Now, the button next is stretch mode, and your start and end frame becomes a draggable anchor. Now, you can click on it, and also you can scroll it if you want, and a bounce that feels perfect over 20 frames can pull out over 60 for a slow reveal, and you get there with just one click instead of pushing it manually. Modes. Now, 3 buttons next to those, and they change what apply actually does. Playhead mode. On. When it's on, apply mode shapes the segment your playhead is sitting on. Off. Apply sweeps the entire animation in every segment in just one click. 10 keyframes, same feel across all of it, that's off. And fixing one segment, that's on. Now override. This keeps reapplies clean. Well, here as you can see, it applied to every segment and it's not very clean. So why this happened? Because my playhead button is off, and because of that, it applied to every single segment. So make sure that when you're using it, you don't do this mistake. Old handles get cleared before the new ones go down, which means you can irritate as many times as you want without stacking junk on top of junk. And then multi-select, which is one of that actually saves you time in real project. Turn it on and every control in the sidebar gets checkbox. Check what you want and hit apply once. Same curve, every checked control across multiple nodes at the same time. Position, scale, rotation, 3 different nodes, just one click. That's the difference between easing one thing and easing a whole scene. And if your window is narrow and those 3 collapse into one option button, same modes just stacked. Presets of your library. Now, the first time you find a curve you love should be the last time you build. These cards are your presets. Click one and it loads. That's your starting point. Tune it exactly how you want it, then save it and name it. And it becomes a card sitting right next to everything else. It remembers the whole thing, the type, the direction, every single value. And they will change how fast you work. If you spent 5 minutes on a curve, save it. Saving costs you 3 seconds. Rebuilding it next week costs you 5 minutes again. 2. If you never touch the built-in cards, hide the defaults, then your reel is nothing but your own work. Do that for a month and you end up with a library that basically is your style. The curve editor. This is where you'll spend your time. Let's do it properly. Left to right is time, bottom to top is value. The curve is where your value travels through that time. Flat means slow, steep means fast. That's it. That's the entire language. Once that clicks, you can read any curve in any software. Now you can scroll with your mouse to zoom in, and depending on your mouse position, it zooms in there. And your mouse becomes a pivot. Now you can double click it to reset it. Then there is X and Y value on the right hand corner, where you can increase the height or width of it depending on your need. Now, the part that makes it a real curve editor. By default, each handles move on its own. Grab it, move it, and the other one stays exactly where it is. Then there is 4 modifier keys, and honestly, these are the whole thing. Hold shift, the opposite handle mirrors yours. Perfectly symmetrical ease, both sides at once. That's your ease in out in a single drag. Hold control, both handles move together by the same amount. You're sliding the whole shape instead of reshaping it. Hold Alt, Axis Lock. The drag locks to whichever direction you move first. So you can change the timing without touching the value, or the value without touching the timing. That one's underrated. Now you can also combine Alt with Shift or Control to have the benefits of mirroring with pinpoint accuracy. There's one more piece of the curve editor, and it's the easiest thing in the app to miss. You hover your mouse over the right edge of the curve, and you get a side drawer. 4 things lives in there. Real view, that it always draws a curve going up, left to right. That's the standard, and it's fine most of the time. But your actual animation might be going down and a value dropping instead of rising. Turn real view on, and the editor flips to match what your keyframes are actually doing in DaVinci Resolve. Flip swaps your in and out easing and mirrors the curve instantly. You know, that moment where you build the perfect ease and then realize you needed the reverse of. One click instead of starting over. Live sync. And this is the one that people don't believe until they see it. Normally, you drag in EaseSpline and resolve updates. With live sync on, you can drag handle and resolve's own spline editor. EaseSpline mirrors it back. Same curve, two editors, always in agreement. Nothing re-import, nothing repack, ever. And back to original, which restores the curve you started from where the value you had saved. This is the actual library of motion, what it feels like and what I would actually use it for. Bezier, the foundation. 2 handles, 1 curve, total control. Everything else in this list is a shortcut to a shape you could build here by hand. Multibezier. Bezier, but with many points as you need. For motion, 1 arc can't describe. Something that slides in, holds for a bit, then snaps home 3 moves, living in 1 curve. Then power, the same family of shapes driven by 1 number instead of the handles. Low is gentle, high is brutal. The object barely moves and then just gone. Use it when you know the feel you want and you don't want to touch the handle. Back. Anticipation and overshoot. It either pulls back before it goes or flies past the target and settles into it. The most interesting part, elastic. Elastic, it overshoots the target, comes back under, overshoots again, and smaller each time until it settles. And that's what makes motion feel alive. Nothing in this real world stops dead. Long reveals, pop-ins, anything snap you like. Then come the bounce. A ball hitting the ground and each time it gets smaller than the last. And there's a difference. Bounce every time, bounce, here's the difference. Because everyone mixes this two up. Elastic goes past the target and swings back. Bounce arrives at the target and bounces off it. Now, stay with me because this too gets their own control system. And this is exactly where most easing tools give you one slider and call it a day. Top of the control, there's mode switch, perceived and physics. Perceived is a feel mode. You describe the result you want and it does the math. It has 2 sliders, it's easy to use, generally faster. On elastic, that 1 slider, bounce. On bounce, it's bounciness. Low is heavy object, physics modes pops the hood because same curve, but now every part of the motion has its own dial oscillation. It is the count. How many swings before it settles? Amplitude is a size, how far each swing overshoots or how big each bounce is. Now, decay is how fast they shrink. When low, motion dies almost immediately. High keeps it ringing right in the end. Decay is the timing between them. Push it up and the later bounce gets tight and quick. Pull it down, they stretch out instead. And then, last but not least, the hang. It's there in both modes, and this is my favorite slider on the app. It holds the motion at the peak of every arc, the ball floats for a moment before it drops, and it sharpens the landing at the same time. Now, sharpen only happens in the bounce. In elastic, it flats out both top and end curve steps. Hard jumps, a few steps to stop the motion, a lot of steps to almost smooth, but with a mechanical texture running underneath it to give you that stop animation feel. Now, irregular. Irregular is steps with irregularity, okay, with timing deliberately broken. Now, if you want something like a irregular glitch text or a flicker animation, this is perfect for it. Now, this is the thing that I've told you about the very start. Every physics curve in here, elastic, bounce, all of them, is a formula, a calculation. In every other easing tool, that's where it ends. You get sliders, and that's all. In EaseSpline, you can convert these formulas into editable curves, and every peak of the bounce is now a handle you can grab. So the engine does the hard work, and then you go in and fix one bounce that wasn't quite right by hand. And that back button I told you to hold on to, that takes you straight back, and that takes you to the original curve, same values, nothing has lost. So you're never locked into either side, and that's the very part I'm proudest of. The animation preview shows your current curve as the actual motion, live in its own floating window. Edit the curve, the preview moves with you. Target on a second monitor or in the corner. because a curve on the graph is the one thing. Watching it move is what tells you if it's the right one. Now, one interesting thing, if you don't want to apply it and still want to see the animation, you hover your mouse over any card and that card shows the animation in the animation preview. You can also change the controls of the animation preview. If you hover your mouse over the control pill, it shows you duration, fade in, fade out. Even you can loop or you can stop the loop and play it just once. Links in description, chapters are down here too, so come back to whatever you need whenever you need. And for Linux people, well, you can always come to my Discord server to ask for early access. And that is it for today. And if this opened up something you couldn't do in Resolve before, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps. And tell me in the comments which curve you end up using the most. I'm curious whether it's the bounce or elastic or it's the back, because back is my new favorite. And see you in the next one.